So hello guys, it's Sendo here again. Today I wanted to make another analysis video on the grand final last Sunday between SetToDestroy and Almost Kids. So this is something I plan on doing after every one of these bigger tournaments. Try to go over the match and see what I noticed. That was pretty pretty big match in that big tournament, a lot of people watching. But yeah, let's stop right here, look over the comps. So this is the first thing that really surprised me about the SetToDestroy's comp. They were coming out running 3 attacks. This was something I didn't see from them before in the tournament. You see Hex, and I think he likes playing T-Deck at least, but he can play multiple weapons. Penguin, well, I think he mostly played Sloshers in this tournament. Kyber, of course, mains T-Deck. And Puno, again, I think he mains shooters, but I think he's perfectly fine playing somewhat the longer range shooters. So I'm pretty surprised by their short range comp coming into this match. And Almost Kids had relatively unchanged lineup throughout the whole tournament, running double ink armor, double ink chat, which is pretty strong in this state of the game. And yeah, not much changes from them. Occasionally bring in Rabbit, but we are going in for the short range comp as well for this match. And I'm using endgames footage, so thanks for them to letting me use it. But I was very skeptical about the short range lineup that Beat went in for this match, and you can see like it's at the start when whenever you like face a team that has more ink armors than you, in theory they should be able to win the fights, or you know, they always have one ink armor over you if they play it correctly. So you'll always like kind of like fighting against that. Like it's not everything, but it's still like something to keep in mind. And yeah, they kind of like almost got a good push at the start, but on this map you don't really need to get much of a lead, and it's already pretty strong the defense, I think. Overall, like, I think with Junior, Almost Kids does have a bit of an advantage in holding the ink control. And on this kind of map, if you can keep the mid-ink, well, it's really a huge factor in winning the game. Because this map especially is kind of weird. There's not, the top mid is almost like same level as everything else in this map. Like if you look at the sidelines, there's not much of a what most people call snipe, where there's Almost Kid players right now. It's like the only thing overlooking the top mid, but there's not much of like height differences in this map. So I think holding top mid in control is pretty significant in winning this game. But yeah, I think early on this game was pretty like evenly matched. But again, like the special rollout for that bit is kind of weird here, with 3 ink chats and 1 ink armor, which is, yeah, that's still like, I think that's still like strong, like 3T. Like it's not like the worst thing you could possibly do, but it's still. I wonder if it was something they knew, like they were coming from winner's side, so where they kind of like wanted to try it out for whatever reason, since they knew they had a bit of a room for error here, because they could, you know, lose 1 set and still be able to come back here. Yeah, they even get a small lead here at this point in the game. But if you watch the map control, I think throughout the match you see Almost Kids have really good map control throughout the top mid and whatnot. So you see like Kyber there, like he tries to go in for the Rainmaker, but it's not so easy when there's like not much to move around, and they get the 1 point lead here, which is, yeah, that's like what Rainmaker is. Sometimes you go from one end to another end, but still like 45 is still not what you would consider a safer lead on this map. And that's why this match was kind of like back and forth, in that both teams tried to actively push instead of trying to just defend the lead. And now you can see like the specials light up, but they have 3 inkjets ready. So I'm just saying the synergy necessarily isn't there. Like they're using 2 inkjets right now. Actually, I think they even use 3 inkjets here. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because they can couple it with armors and whatnot. So maybe it's a bit harder to get the kind of plays you want. And here, of course, you see the junior like get top mid in control really fast. Like I think the junior really did a good job for almost kids throughout the tournament. And just something keeping up the in control, you know. And when you see a chance, the junior really like plays fast and gets in control on the places where it matters.
Just like that with no seemingly won team fight there, and now SetToDestroy, if they're able to get rid of this,
I know overall like it's just hard to make a push out of basically out of no in control, because right that's when you're like really overly focused on just getting one wipe and not really like pulling up towards something that's in the end. Because like normally like how you make so-called good pushes or whatever you want to think of, like in competitive, you have your team, you can coordinate stuff. So if you have good in control, you can like safely build specials and whatnot. But if you don't, and there's like constant pressure from the enemy team, it's not so easy to make those pushes. Then you like overly focus on someone like getting a clutch inkjet quad by himself or something, and it's not something that's always gonna happen. And again, like, yeah, I think the lineup kind of for SetToDestroy cost them in this game. But I don't know, it was just interesting thing to see, regardless. And unfortunately, I don't have the detailed results from this game. But you can see like the ink armors from almost kids is pretty crazy alone, like 13 ink armors coming in. It's a pretty significant. Okay, so okay, I maybe like in my last analysis and so on, I maybe talked about ink armor a bit too much, but it is definitely a factor. And if you go in lineups against these ones, yeah, you have a lot of like ink sets coming out, but is that really the thing you want? And here, not so much. Like surprisingly little. Like I'm surprised. Like you can see like the difference here between the T-Tex on that side. Of course, they were like losing most of the match, but still, you can see like Punu like 5 inkjets in a game. That's still quite a bit, but I don't think inkjet is necessarily always the special to like really the one god special by itself. But when you couple it with ink armor, that's game winning stuff. That's like, you know, nano boosted from Overwatch. You nano boost someone with their own special. It's kind of like the same synergy here, that it's really annoying to take out if you see someone like coming in with inkjet and ink armor. So overall, like if you look at the lineup, they have more chances to getting that kind of synergy going on. And overall, the ink control was much better from the inside. So that's why I think almost kids has had the better lineup for this match. But it was pretty like even match. Like it's pretty interesting game to see. Splat Zone Starfish. It's again I was like going into this match, I was kinda expecting almost kids to have an advantage on specifically like Splat Zone stages, or I was thinking maybe on Splat Zone stages it kinda like the games get decided, because you kinda expect almost kids to have to come on stronger on those maps, just because if you look at like Japanese and how they practice, it's all about Splat Zones, and they practice a lot of Splat Zones. So it's not a coincidence why they're strong on that mode. And on West, it's more like you practice everything, and it's not so focused on just one mode. You know, the standard rule set has 3 modes in them, so people practice everything evenly. But I think that Beat always had a pretty good understanding of Splat Zones. And here you can see them subbing the Power for Punio, which is pretty surprising. I think Power mostly played Splat zones in this tournament. Like I think Power was subbing out a lot, maybe surprisingly a lot, because I don't think Power is definitely one of STD's like defining players, so to speak. But yeah, like everyone else, is also probably a bit hurt by the charger nerfs. And yeah, bringing him in on the Splat zones still gives them a nice special rollout in that they get the bomb rush in, which is of course really nice to have on Splat zones. Yeah, overall, he has the other variation of almost gets line abuse here. They bring in Rapid, which is again, I think, one of the better weapons for this map and mode, really, because first of all, the range for it is really nice, because you can like stay back, like if you see like my cursor is, you can stay back like here, and this is where I usually like playing Rapid. So you have a really good view on the zone, and if you get bomb rush again, like you can cover the whole zone pretty easily. You can cover this area here, like take or push in. The only thing you're vulnerable for against really is this flank here, which you have to keep an eye on. But yeah, then you have the ink mine and whatnot, so you have a bit of like something to watch that. So I think Rabbit is really interesting and good choice here. Then again, against Sniper, playing Rabbit is always not so easy. So that's always something to keep in mind of when you have a Rabbit playing against low rank. If they had Rabbit in the last match, that would have been like a really big deal, because it really like should win most fair matches against any of these shoulder range weapons. But when you bring in Sniper, you really can play the Rabbit the same way. You have to always take in account the Sniper and really change how you play, really, because how most snipers play on the stage, they stay on this area here, which is pretty good look to the zone and whatnot, and you don't have to go much forward, and you can already like reach this guy here, or if you come a bit forward, you can really easily get sniped. So it's not the same anymore to play Rabbit against Sniper. Like it's just something you have to always keep in mind when playing Rabbit, is what kind of team are you facing, and that is part of the reason why Rabbit is so strong right now, is that meta is very like low range. Like that's the early flank, like someone stole the spots for the early flank there. I think that's what Kyber was doing, but again, like when you come in from the early flank, like if you go just a bit back, like if you watch this area right here, what makes this flank interesting is that the flanker gets a peeking advantage. If you don't know what peeking advantage is in Splatoon, unlike most shooters that you might have played, in Splatoon the shots originate from right side of the the shooter's body, so they don't like originate from the middle. That means always in like this kind of firefights, one person has the advantage. So Taku here has can shoot Kyber faster than Kyber can shoot them, for example. And this flank is interesting because when you go here, you can shoot them before they even see you in most cases, especially with the latency in these online tournaments. They can shoot you before they even see you, so you really have to be careful when dealing with this flank, and it's really easy to get surprised, especially with someone who like straight rushes in for this flank and uses this corner in the advantage. So it's really easy to just outright die to them before you even see them. But Hexen gets a nice revenge skill on there, which is pretty significant, so it was just run through the lineup and gets the kind of like a counter position. This is another like really weird thing about this map, really, is that after a short flank you have like really like this weird area behind the enemy lines basically, and a big like height advantage. It's a really weird map design in my opinion, but here's how it works anyway. So Hexen already has a really good like height advantage here, and now again kind of weirdly, now Hexen has the advantage in my opinion, because if the enemy comes up, okay, Hexen sees them, and it's not so easy for them to really like get back on Hexen. They have to go all the way like back, all the way like through the crates and all the way, then they can see Hexen. But Hexen can see like this whole whole situation, and if they want, he can come over pretty fast, or he can do whatever he wants. He has all the options, and it's really hard for them to really deal with this kind of flank sometimes. And this map is really defined by all the flanks that's going on, in my opinion. And overall, like having that guy like that in your flank can be really annoying at times. Yeah, you can see the power play, the position I mentioned. Like there you can see like the snipe on that guy. So if I can go back just a little bit. You see the rabbit start like bomb rushing here, and it does instantly gets taken out. So against any other lineup, you could basically push the whole team back by itself with a bomb rush. But here you have someone like watching the back lines, get the pick there. So yeah, that's just one example of how that can work. It's not so easy to, you know, get the plays you want to make with Rabbit when you have a good sniper there watching what you're doing. And here's the other thing, bomb rush, really nice for this stage, really forces them back. And when you couple it with other specials like you do here, Hexen coming from Inkjet on left or Kyber, it's really strong plays overall, even if they don't. Yeah, they did get the almost gets pushed back here, and very nicely like hunt down everyone. That's really like a nice team play by STD there. Again, Kyber, I don't know what he was kind of like thinking there, like what was his thought, like. He could have just like stayed, like climb all the way up there and then pressure with bombs, but instead he was kind of like expecting someone to be there maybe because he was hanging to the edge. And you don't really have to, like when one person goes down, it's really easy for the rest of the team like start losing because then you down a player and every team fight is gonna be in the opposite team's favor. But one thing I almost did have over STD on this map was ink armors, like again like one more ink armor, not everything, but still, you know, it's still significant, and it still like affects these team fights how they play out. And overall it's interesting to see how it compares to her having a sniper who can maybe get some picks, and again having one more inkjet compared to just having 2 arms. Again, this flank, yeah, it's this map is like all of, you see like people make constant flanks, and that's what makes this map really stressful to hold at times, because the flank is so short and it's so strong on this map. Again, they have 2 inks ready, but what they really would want is for someone to get like ink armor than inkjet, but you know, it's not so easy. When you have just tri-slosher, it's not gonna be up so often. You can see like Kyber instantly get destroyed there, and if he had ink armor it might be different, that they use another inkjet now and he gets taken out. So when you can couple ink armor with inkjet, it's really strong, but inkjet in itself can be pretty easily taken out. I think when Sniper gets pushed out on this stage, it becomes a pretty difficult for the Sniper's team in specific. Like Power is very back here, like he can't really reach much of anything right now. And yeah, like gets the kill set there, and but those, when you get pushed out as a Sniper, it's really hard for your team after that point, because you're just not contributing to the game anymore in the same way than if you can snipe in further. But yeah, this was the early games for almost gets really like strong shot by them. They were able to take the first Splat map, which is something that people were looking out for. But yeah, here you can see like again 10 ink armors, 4 ink armors. And even like Taku, just 2 inkjets, but in theory, like if they could couple these together, it's a bit stronger than just, you know, just popping inkjets. You know, it's not so hard to die to Rabbit when you using inkjets just itself or like whatever, like tri-slosher. They can take inkjets out pretty easily. And overall, again, like yeah, I think Power probably had pretty nice like turfing on this map. Just 6 bomb rushes. That's like a lot, I think. But just having Junior, I think it's really nice thing to have in this meta, like having tri-slosher and then Junior as kind of like the actual support. Just putting a lot of ink on the ground compared to Sniper, which normally doesn't really contribute much in this aspect. But yeah, then we go to the second match, which is a bit of a different one. So, X and playing Luna. Special charge of Luna. Yeah, I don't really know the reasoning with this, but it'd be interesting in hearing that sometime. Bringing in Punio again instead of Power. It's pretty interesting they don't like playing Power in tower control, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah, Penguin stays tri-slosher, Kyber, T-Deck. Almost get same lineup. I think Rabbit really strong option here, so they probably had the right idea here. And you can see like at the start, like if you see like what the Junior does, like what he does right away is just ink till they get armor and then they use it. And then in the first team fight, at least in theory, this T-Deck should alone be able to shred most of the team. And I think Penguin is going for the same strat here, but he's not gonna get it as fast as the Junior is gonna get it. It's just not gonna happen. And the Junior gets the armor here, and this is like where the almost kid should be able to take out, you know, take out the team fight, which they are unable to do. So this is where Penguin uses his ink armor. So now it's kind of like hard for almost kids to deal with, because now they first get wiped in the first team fight, and now they also get second ink armor in. And yeah, it's this can like end games really fast when this happens. When you kind of get rolled out, you don't have specials to answer. And yeah, they do get ink armors here, but they're already getting kind of pushed in. Like if you look at the map, they have like no control in their own base already. So again, like first boost to 34 is pretty significant already. Overall, I think Luna is pretty underappreciated at the moment. I think it's pretty nice to see Hexen play it. Of course, you see Examination play Luna a lot, like that's been the thing, but for many teams I see like Luna hasn't been really a popular choice. I still think it's strong for maps like this one. Not necessarily strong in a way where you would run special touch up for the bowler, but it's more like strong in a sense that either you like it's one of those weapons that either you get nothing or you can get like really huge multi kills. And this kind of map with a lot of slopes is really nice for Luna. A lot of like sharp drops. It's really like dream scenario for Luna. Again, right now, in this phase of the match, there wasn't really like any like clear, you know, any clear positions here on the map. It was like kind of like messy push by almost gets kind of like panic even. Again, it might be they don't really like play tower control that much, so maybe they don't really have, you know, the final, how do I say it? So if they don't play a lot of tower control, they don't really necessarily have a clear in their head how you make like really a good coordinated team push here. So the first push that STD made was really strong team push with good special usage, and it's just different thing in the Splat zones. That's what I'm saying. And again, like getting wiped, and you can see like STD instantly get map control everywhere. That's really huge for a lineup, especially a lineup like this with Luna and whatnot. You have a lot of ink control to play around in. It's really nice for those weapons.
on the Rapid Blaster. And in the meantime, a lot of the focus of play being focused on that tower. Set and Destroy, practicing that mantra of the best offense is, the best defense is a rigorous, aggressive offense. So far, doing a great job of that.
Overall, again, you see the Rabbit like hold on the bomb rush. Maybe not the best choice. Like personally, what I like using a bomb rush in this scenario is if you use the bomb rush, you get at least some map control. You don't always have to like chain it to some other like huge team play or whatever, try to go for kills. You can just throw those bombs everywhere. You get at least map control, which is already like a big part in, you know, getting a push going and whatnot. Again, like almost Kids didn't really get anything coordinated going in this match. They've been struggling pretty hard in that sense, but every play you see them make is kind of like it's so different from Splat, how you saw them play in Splat zones, right? Because it's just like one random player here like flanking and whatnot, and like really like alone in the middle and whatnot. Like they really don't have same kind of wing control or anything they had in the previous game, for example. And again, the Rabbit has bomb rush right now, but is holding onto it for whatever reason, like the clock is ticking down and whatnot. So this kind of like things, it's, I don't know, like personally, you just gotta like figure out how to get map control first, right? And then you gotta get pushes going. Some people are over focused on tower and don't really like overthink it. Really, like how any map or any mode works in Splatoon is that you get mid control and then you can make pushes, and that's pretty much the game in a nutshell. I think pretty huge game by Hexen 19, but this is a really good Luna map, so. This is Luna basically. Like you can always expect like huge numbers from Luna when you choose it. So I think it's interesting, but really nice choice by them. Although 2 T-Decks to couple it together with, I don't know. Well, it seemed to work out for them well enough. So come to argue. Penguin getting a lot more ink armor in this game than he got in previous games. And yeah, I just think like. The thing that decided this game was that almost couldn't really get a coordinate push going to take first back like map control and then work on pushes. They got like 1 or 2 somewhat of pushes, but they don't really like do it as a team, or they don't really like get first map control back. So it's a bit different then. Go. Okay, so Ink.Art Academy, Rainmaker. Yeah, so this next 2 are pretty quick matches, and you see Hexen play in Paris. This was before patch, so it was still like really low P inkset weapon. Overall, the bringing power here, I think, pretty smart move. I think like a sniper here is pretty strong overall. Like if the matches for some reason like stall a lot, you can sniper really has a huge control from the own plat like throughout the whole mid. So I think probably poorly like what maps power played when he didn't was what they thought what was good for was like dominant maps for Charger. But again, you see the juniors stay back and try to charge special, and the tri-slosher does kind of like the same thing really. Personally, I don't really agree with it. Like, well, I remember how this match goes, so this is something like separate from that. But I don't really agree like having tri-slosher stay down and just bubble, because you're not gonna get it before the junior anyway. So at least you could have like the man advantage in middle when they make the armor push. But yeah, quick pop. I don't know what Taku was doing. Like they weren't in no position to, you know, get the early pop, because you have power shooting at shield, you have Hexen with the girling bombs or whatever. So you're not gonna get the first pop. So in that situation, your first priority is, you know, not die the pop there. And they get the armor push now, but it's just like really like only one frontliner left. Like when you think about it, Junior is really not a fighter in itself. Rabbit can't really take full advantage of like ink armor, so that kind of like nullifies their advantage, and they just like taken out 2v1 there, with the rest of the team staying back and really not taking use of the ink armor there. And now, kind of like the same thing happens again. So the first thing ink armor almost gets uses is like nothing. It does absolutely nothing, and Penguin doesn't get it as early as the Junior, but gets it like for the first push, right? So he doesn't get it for the first fight, he gets it for the first push, and now they can really like you know, go the whole way with this. Like, yeah, there's not much to say about that after that push, because 3 ink armor guys on the Splat, ink set, ink armor, whatever. Like, it's, yeah, there's not much you can say about that after that. It has already happened. So overall, yeah, like small things decide games, right? If Taku hadn't died to the like pop at the start, they would have at least 2 frontliners take advantage of the ink armor. It might have been a bit different, but Taku dies. Arikuma can't do anything on himself. Penguin gets ink armor, they push in, armor push. Yeah, games can end pretty fast with a quick respawn. And here, I think this was like the make or break for the set, really. Like Splat zones that you expect maybe to almost get some advantage. They bring in Chapper, which is another pretty strong weapon, a lot of special charge up. Object Shredder, which is pretty popular for in Japan, I think, for this kind of weapons who don't normally break armor from one hit. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how they decide which armor weapon to use for which map. Apparently they like Chopper for this one. And yeah, apparently STD decided the last lineup worked well for them, so keeping that lineup. Probably pretty smart. I think Sniper pretty good here. Again, first fight, but now you see like the difference right now is that they don't get the early armor push. Like the Chopper only now gets the armor, but Deadbeat already has the special up at this point. So this strat is just completely different from the last Splat Zones map, I think, in that sense. And again, they don't really capitalize on the armor push there, and it's how the specials like work is that when you waste one and the other team didn't use anything yet, then the other team has the advantage, right? And this is how this fifths throughout the set. And Bomber is of course really strong here as a sniper. And yeah, full wipe, always pretty bad. Like you can see Deadbeat really ink the whole map really fast. They've been really good at that this whole set. Again, like it's taking a long time for the Tapper to get the armor off. They already down one frontliner when he gets the armor off. It's never gonna be as significant if you frontliners aren't actually like alive when you use the armor. So I think that's a double mistake in the sense that of course the TX should never die before the armor comes off in that situation, but also the Zapper, well, I think didn't focus armor at some points enough, really. I think at the start, and in that spot it took a long time for him to get armor off. So 2 matches, pretty dominant by STD, and it's really hard to come back after you lose twice like this. It's just mentally really hard for you to believe that you can, you know, first win 2 in a row and then win another set. It's really hard for you. And again, 0 kills in 2 matches now, so that's pretty unheard of. I don't remember it ever happening in my sets that I would play in any set where a team doesn't get a kill in 2 rounds. So it's really hard for me to just because I like, if you listen to the mistakes at least, or if you listen to the stuff I talked about, then yeah, you can clearly see why these games went like this way. But at the same time, it's 0 kills is still 0 kills. Like, it means no one like for 2 minutes or nothing like got even one kill on any of the STD's members. So just seeing this kind of number, it's really hard for you to believe that you can like you lose Splat zones and next is like Moray's tower and you can win that. It's just really hard for you to believe in that. Just gonna go forward till I see weapons. And again, as they did, staying with the lineup. I think this is probably like mostly the scenario where they see like this lineup works well, so let's keep this lineup. Other than that, Deadbeat had a lot. Astrid had a lot of members play this tournament. They had even had like a really good Japanese blaster Yaki subbing for them the first game. So they had like total of I believe 7 members. No, 6 members played this tournament. So a lot of variants in their lineup, but maybe they noticed this one works the best for them. You see a lot of like bomb defense overall, like throughout the like everyone's running a lot of bomb defense. That seems to be the thing right now, and this is probably because like when you think about like what do you take damage from, then yeah, actual bombs are pretty popular in this meta right now. Most weapons have some kind of bomb, either special or as sub weapon, but also missiles, also inkjets, also everything. Like the cheap damage in this game is off the charts right now. So having bomb defense to counter that bit is pretty nice. Power with the E-liter, probably a pretty reasonable choice. It's still like Moray Tower, which is like not that the changes didn't really make it any worse for or like that bad for sniper at all. And they bring in again their like tested lineup, but again, it's a good lineup, but I don't know if it's the best one for this state in particular. It's just so like dominant to have a sniper here. It really like forces you to move completely differently from what you could if they didn't have a sniper. And your supports really have to be careful when faced with that. And again, like they lose the initial fight. They just can't really capitalize on the armor space being the common team right now. And again, like kind of the same thing happens. Penguin gets the armor here. They can push with armor. Like this has been almost like 3 games now. It's pretty. They didn't really like figure it out. This game wasn't as significant as the other games, but it's still like the same thing kind of happened there. Still 39 push on Moray. It's nothing to cough at. It's really good push to on your first minute. But yeah, at this point it kind of becomes like ST this game to win, because they don't really in a particular like hurry to push anything or force anything. They have power in the back lines, really controlling the field. So the only thing they can really do is like try to couple in armors and inkjets and whatnot and try to make something happen. But for a team who knows they are like 3 minutes away from winning the tournament, just change how they play. And they wait for like 3 people to go down. Now they finally start pushing. I mean that's what they should be doing in this situation, I think. Like just the lineup alone is they have much more like presence on the map. And yeah, it's just it was after the first push it was always like almost gets map to lose after that. You push it to 30s and yeah, it just changes how the other team can play. They don't need pressure to push anymore, so they can stay back, wait for you to run into you, 3 down, you counter push with armor. Yeah, that's the is the end result. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like almost gets kind of fell apart in the last three matches. They started pretty strong and then they kinda. I don't know. I wonder if they really like let the mistakes get to their head or whatever. Because like those games, while they were pretty dominant by STD, like you still like if you listen to what I said, it's still like can be explained why it ended like that. So maybe you don't see it when you're playing and you kind of like get negative about the whole match, and you don't play normal like Rabbit, not really getting to do much here. Hard to say what happens really, but still. I think that's about it. What I have to say about the set. Yeah. Again, congrats to SetToDestroyX for winning InkStorm first ever Western team. Good job. And if you guys like this analysis, then let me know. If you didn't, then let me know. If I can improve somehow, let me know. I always try to take feedback in account when making videos. And I know I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to learn video by video. And yeah, that's about it, and see you next time.